there's two teams left, Washington Commanders and Seattle Seahawks. We have a lot of big names still out there. We got Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, is still out there. We've got Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titans former head coach, still out there. Thought he was going to go to the Patriots. They said no. We got Bill Belichick, who we just talked about. Thought he was going to go to the Falcons. No. Dan Quinn is out there, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, who we thought for sure was going to get a head coaching job. And then maybe that playoff game in which they decided to play zone coverage against one of the best zone coverage quarterbacks in the NFL and lost. Maybe that was raising some eyebrows around the league. And then, of course, there's also possibly Pete Carroll if he decides he doesn't want to just be in an advisory role with the Seattle Seahawks. He allegedly made a push for the Chargers job and obviously didn't get it.
Who, Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll, yeah. It was reported he was like trying to make a final push. So here's the dealio with this whole situation. The biggest names on that list that I just named are the outsiders. They're the ones who it's looking like aren't going to have jobs this season. At least as head coaches, maybe as coordinators. Dan Quinn seems to be the favorite in Seattle. He has been in Seattle before. He was the Legion of Boom defensive coordinator, has his roots there. The organization appears to like him. They've been interviewing him. And then Ben Johnson, who hasn't really been doing interviews because the Lions are still in the playoffs, potentially going to the Super Bowl, which then raises his stock even more, is seemingly the guy that Washington wants to go with. And Washington is going to want to go with an offensive-minded coach because they just had a defensive-minded coach. It didn't work out in Ron Rivera. And they need a quarterback. They need someone to develop that offense because it's not working, whatever they got going on over there. And they have Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy's doing his best, but they need some help. So we'll see what happens. I thought Eric Bieniemy would be in talks. I don't know why Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a head coaching job already. But
hey man, the NFL is strange. But remember, there's more coaches, more coaching options than there are spots currently. It's not like there's all these coaches out here and there's all these coaching positions open. I mean, some of these guys, if they want jobs, they might just have to settle for coordinating positions and different things like that, or just coaches. I mean, before Brian Flores got back to a defensive coach, he was freaking linebackers coach for the Steelers. Like, I mean, it happens. I mean, some of these guys might just have to just do some random coaching for a season until they get back to that spot.
But like, we're in this, no disrespect to Dave Canales. How are we living in a situation where Mike Vrabel doesn't have a job, but Dave Canales does as a head coach?
That I couldn't tell you, dude. That I have no idea.
And I hope Dave Canales, I hope it works out. I hope he does great. But resume-wise, it's not there. And who do you hire if you're Washington? Because Washington's looking to do a complete overhaul for obvious reasons. But
and they already said they didn't want Billy B, right?
They don't. Yeah, they're not interested in Billy B. So that leaves Vrabel. Vic, I don't know if Vic Fangio has officially signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, but he was let go by the Miami Dolphins as their defensive coordinator. So I assume he's going to go to the Eagles because he was kind of a, I forget, like defensive aide during their Super Bowl run. I forget what his official title was. It was like a 2-week position. But I assume he's one of the better defensive coordinators in the NFL. Does Mike Vrabel go down to Miami then? Does Mike Vrabel get a head coaching job? Does Dan Quinn go somewhere else and not get a head coaching job? These are all weird situations that I did not think we would be living in. I thought Vrabel and Bill Belichick were going to have their pick of teams. And now it doesn't look like they're going to be on any team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you never know. I mean, there could be some coaching opportunities in college for them, so they might even just drop down and they pull a Jim Harbaugh.
Could you imagine like walking into the locker room as a freshman, like football player, and Bill Belichick's your head coach?
It'd be nuts. I don't think it'll be Bill Belichick. I couldn't see it being Bill Belichick. If Bill Belichick was like the coach, it'd be wild. Nah, I don't think he'd be a college coach. I'm talking about some of the other ones like Vrabel and stuff like that. I feel like could be decent college coaches for a couple of years before jumping back over. But I think Bill Belichick's at that point, like Pete Carroll, where I don't think that they would go back to college because at that point it's like kind of just a waste.
But
So
okay, if you're Washington, who do you hire? In your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, I would say, and because the two teams that are left are Washington, Seattle,
Yes.
and honestly, I think they should go with Vrabel. I do.
Vrabel?
I think it should be Vrabel because
Okay.
just because I feel like obviously you're not going to go with Bill Belichick. Pete Carroll's not going to make a push. And I think Vrabel is a very solid coach, and I think it was a missed opportunity potentially by New England for passing up on him and going within the organization, which I'm always a very strong believer against because it's never worked for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now it could work for New England, but has not worked in Pittsburgh, and that's why they are looking outside, looking for offensive coordinators, and I don't know. That's an interesting look too because I'm a little nervous that they're trying to sign some Carolina guys. So
Thomas Brown.
that's not looking too hot. We're going from Matt Canada to Thomas Brown, and Thomas Brown did not have a very good offensive season with the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it was Thomas Brown, but it was definitely somebody from Carolina that they're trying to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Thomas Brown. But yeah. That's who I would go with. I don't know, who would you go with?
If I'm Washington, I think Ben Johnson's the best option.
Yeah,
He doesn't have the head coaching experience, but you know what? Some of this, the way we've seen this Lions offense go this year, he's been cooking up some stuff. And I think get some decent personnel in Washington, you can get a good team going there.
I that's a good point. That is a good point.
And thanks for watching that video, guys. If you want to check out a most recent full episode of No Buts About It, that's going to be right over here. Yep, right there. Check that out. And if you just want to see more short clips, we're going to have one right over here for you to watch. Check out No Buts About It on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts so you can listen to us on the go. Once again, have a great day and go do something nice for someone.